Founder of the successandmoneyfoundation.org. We're a nonprofit educational foundation. We teach kids, teens, young adults, and adults about success and money because, well, most likely you didn't learn it in school. And if you did learn it in school, we have a wonderful platform that's free. We're a charity, we're a nonprofit that you can use to help teach people about success and money principles. Because if you study successful people and do what they do, you can copy it. You can do the same things that they do. Now, they've added a bunch of zeros and they've added and made great big companies, but at the same time, you can do the same strategies. You can learn. You can learn from Steve Jobs. What were the things that he did? You can learn from Walt Disney and Roy Disney. How did they get this park financed? How did they get it out there? And how did they build what they built? You can learn from Bill Gates. How did he do it? And then learn the little strategies. They might have 100 strategies. Your goal is to go find a handful of those strategies, 5 or 10 of those strategies, and start putting them into your business. You can learn from myself. My companies that I have ran or joint ventured with have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to help you get your small businesses up and running, because step number one is you need to learn how to make more money. Make more money is the first thing you've got to do. Inflation is hurting people all over the world. And we need to change that. You need to learn how to make more money at your job. You need to learn how to make more money at your small business. And then we need to get your money working for you. And sometimes this is going to take a while. We're going to plant some money trees. And to use an example, this last weekend, we were picking apples off of our apple tree. Someone else planted that apple tree. We bought the house years ago. And that apple tree has still been producing fruit every year. So somebody planted an apple tree that we are now enjoying. The same is going to be true with you. Many of you are going to plant apple trees that you're going to enjoy, but truly your kids and other people are going to enjoy it as well. The big scary thing is that every one of you in this call, every one of you in your family is going to make, manage, and spend millions of dollars throughout your lifetime. Millions of dollars are going to go through your fingertips. And if you have the systems and strategies, you can learn how to make that money grow. Not only yourself and your family, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, but your next door neighbor, the people down the street, the people on the street. Everybody in the world is going to make and manage and spend money, but no one's teaching the simplicity of it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to bring my good friend in, Mr. Kurt Mortensen. He is a best-selling author. His books are all over the world, and he is one of the board members of Advisors. He is one of the gentlemen that helped me dramatically get these classes up online, and without Kurt, this would not be the way it is. I'm just very thankful for him. We've been friends for decades and neighbors, and I just want to turn it over to him. We're going to be talking about your small business, and then at the end of the classes, we're going to do some case studies. So Kurt, take it away. You're still muted, Kurt.
That's the button I'm looking for. All right, so now I'm unmuted. Welcome. Good morning, team. Good to be here. Let's talk about small business, growing your small business, starting your small business. As Tom calls it, a side hustle, which just basically means just start doing it on the side, a little bit here, an hour there, start building it, start growing it. And the goals eventually your side hustle, your small business is making more money than your full-time job. And that's when you can transition. Although Tom brought up some emotional scars with all those Harvard case studies, but they're actually really good. He's right on. I learned more from Harvard case studies than any lecture ever, because you're doing it, you're looking at the situation, and it makes a big difference. And everyone needs a small business, something on the side. This is important. And early in my career, I studied successful entrepreneurs. What are they doing that the average person's not doing? And I want to talk about some of the things to start working on, whether you're just getting started or you're already in your business. Maybe there's some holes in the boat you need to plug. All right, take a look at a few things, talking about it. And that's one of my favorite things, is to train entrepreneurs, because they're hungry. They realize that there's a direct relationship between their education and what they're learning and growing their business. They're hungry, they're excited, and that's what's about it. And entrepreneurs, they want more, they feel like they're worth more, they want more job security. And that's a hard thing for people to understand. What, job security? No, you work for a big company. They'll take care of you. And I think we all know that's not right. We've all been fired from jobs, recession. If you want job security, you have your own business. And some people have been brainwashed. No, big company, that's job security. No, you have no control for the most part. And so it's interesting when you look at entrepreneurs, some are very successful and some say, well, it didn't work. Well, we know it works. And I've always believed that success in business and in life is an open book test. You're like, well, what is that? You remember the open book test? The answers are there. All the answers are there. If you want to be a millionaire, you start thinking, acting, and doing what other millionaires do. That's an open book test. There's really no secrets there. You start thinking, doing what other successful business owners, millionaires do. And of course, that's why you're here. And it's always broken my heart where you see someone who they're passionate, they love what they do, they start their own restaurant, or I've met photographers that were some of the best that didn't make it, or I've done training with martial arts studio owners to where they have their competence, they're good at what they do, they're just not good at business. We have to have both. We have to be good at what we do, right? As Tom says, solve some problems. What problem can you solve? And they do it. And you'll meet a lot of people that maybe you don't feel are very smart, but they're being more successful in business than you are. What do they have that you don't do? What do they have that you're not doing? So I'm going to talk about a few things in no particular order, some things to think about. What are the holes in your boat that you need to plug and work on, whether you're just getting started or you're growing your business? And I want you to choose either one or two to work on. Let's get through some of these as we work through the different pieces of these. And just, it takes a little time to get things going many times. One of my favorite stories, one of my early mentors, Jim Rohn, was a great motivational speaker, business philosopher, trained a lot of entrepreneurs, told me this story once of this guy his roommate was sitting in his apartment, watching TV, playing video games, doing nothing. His roommate comes rushing. He's like, hey, dude, I just found a gold mine. Come on, let's go dig up some gold. Let's go. I found a gold mine. Gold. We're going to be rich. His roommate was sitting there with his feet up and said, well, how far is it? He says, it's a couple miles. Let's go. Well, how long are we going to be there? I don't know, a couple days. Let's go. It's a gold mine. Get your shovel, get your glove, and let's go. Well, is there internet up there? It's a gold mine. Let's go. He's like, get your shovel. He's like, well, how much does shovels cost? Just meaning that he's missing the mark, where in business, you got to pay with your time or your money. You got to invest something in it. You got to work through it. You can't just get stuck on the little things. And so if you don't have a lot of money, you pay with your time. If you don't have a lot of time, you pay with your money. I mean, it kind of switches as we go throughout life, as we go through this. Now, the first one I've talked about in other segments here at Success and Money Live, and that's been my passion throughout my whole life, is influence, or basically everyone's in sales. Never let anybody fool you. Oh, just share. No, we're all in sales. We see that in network marketing. Just share. No, we're selling. And there was some interesting studies here done in the United States. And this is true around the world, where a government agency, the Small Business Administration, and a private agency, the Dun & Bradstreet, if you're familiar with those, researched the failure rate of small businesses. And it's really high. The first 5 years, it's well into the over 90%. I mean, that's not your motivational piece there. Well over 90%. Why did they fail? 87% failed because, ready for it? Hold on. Lack of sales. Okay, lack of sales. Duh. And so we're all in sales. It's one of the most important things you can do as we walk through these different pieces. So you need to be good at people skills and sales skills and influence, and always work on that skills. And when you do sell somebody, what worked? And when you don't, wow, what can I do better next time? Benchmark other people that are really good at influence and sales and persuasion. Make it a lifetime journey. It's no secret that most CEOs of large companies started in sales, because you have to learn this skill somewhere. And that's key. Get better at it. Learn from it. Don't just data dump. Learn how to get people excited to beg you. They want to do it. And that's the key. Help people sell themselves, help people persuade themselves. And there's not a module on that. I just want to plant that seed that it's critical. But get your mindset. I'm in sales. I'm doing this. I'm selling the best product in the world. And I've always believed, and I know this pushes you a little bit, but you have a moral and ethical obligation to sell people. You're like, what? Yeah. If you don't, someone else with an inferior product probably going to charge more, not take care of them, not care about them. Someone's going to take their money. Think about it. Someone's going to take their money. It might as well be you. Got me? Might as well be you. Someone's going to take it. Might as well be you. So just want to plant that seed that we're all in sales. You have to really master it. And don't just try, oh, it didn't work. It's their fault. No. If someone says no, it's your fault. Think about it. Get better. Fine tune it. Practice different things. Sell people differently. Everyone has a different personality, different style as we work on it. So the first one, you're all in sales. Okay. Now, the other one is that your network is too small. You don't know enough people. You look at successful business people, they know a lot of people. They used to call it $1 million Rolodex. I don't know if you remember those with all the contacts. Now it's all online, but you know more people. You've got to expand your network. Everybody you meet can help you grow your business or know somebody that can. Everybody you meet can teach you something. I mean, you can meet the greatest failure in the world. Everything they did was a failure. You can learn from them. You can learn what not to do. Okay. So you need to build your network, open yourself up for outside help, people that can talk to you and work with you. And that's part of it. So a couple of things here, get to know more people, get their contact information, start developing a relationship, see what they do. I would even take a successful business person, even a millionaire, to lunch. Well, they have to eat too. And you'll be surprised how often successful people will go out to lunch. Now, first tip here is you should pay for the lunch. Well, they're the millionaire, they should pay. No. If they're going to spend 30, 60 minutes with you, you pay, take them wherever they want and pick their brain. It's amazing how many successful people in business that you ask them. Most people just don't, oh, they're busy, they won't go. Ask. Let me take you to lunch. Can I pick your brain? They have to eat. They're actually kind of flattered about it. Develop what we call supermind groups, where you get people together from different businesses, where you brainstorm how you do in your marketing, what social media is working for you, how are you approaching, how's your sales process, what's going on. Develop groups where you can brainstorm together, build your businesses together, work together. And you're like, oh, I have this problem. And then the person will say, well, I faced that problem too. This is what worked for me. Don't rely on yourself. Too many entrepreneurs, I can do it. I can do it. I'm smart enough. And you are. But why not get more groups? Build up your network. Get more people. Take successful people to lunch. Get to know more people. And build up your contact list. That's about too many entrepreneurs. They just get stuck. Number one, I can do it on my own. Why? Sure, but it's going to take you 10 extra years. Or start developing networks and groups. There's a direct correlation between the people you know and your success and how fast your business will be successful. So again, everybody you meet can do business with you or knows somebody that can. Just put that in your mind. Everybody. Oh, so if they say, no, I'm not interested, do you know somebody that is? We've done trainings on getting referrals and talking to more people and opening your mouth. So that's the second one. The next one for a lot of entrepreneurs is lack of education. And I'm not talking about college. I teach, I'm a college professor. I teach college, and there's a place for college, but for entrepreneurs, self-education. So your personal development program, being educated, you're here, you're learning. Pat yourself on the back, you're here. You're not figuring it out on your own. Become more educated, learn about the different things, realize when you need to learn it or when you can find it from someone else. My other early mentor, his name was Brian Tracy. I don't know if you recognize that name. He's another very successful person in business. He studies successful businesses. and he was big on personal development. And his magic number, 30 minutes a day, whether it's a podcast or these type of videos or reading a book, 30 minutes a day. Because if you can read yourself 30 minutes a day, after 5 years, you're a worldwide authority on your topic. You know more than 99% of the people about what you do, which makes you the expert, which makes you solve more problems, which you make more money. So not only are you learning, because again, I know you're smart enough, but here's the secret. Every problem, every challenge you're going to face in life and business, every single one, someone's already faced it, overcome it, and has written a book about it, or has a YouTube video about it, or has a podcast about it. You can figure it out on your own, but you don't have time. Learn, grow, read the books, go to the podcast, 30 minutes a day. Dedicate yourself to 30 minutes a day. So not only to become the expert, you just feel better. A Harvard study found that those who are learning and growing every day, they're more optimistic, they're more enthusiastic about where they're going, what they're going to accomplish. But those who don't learn and grow every day become negative, pessimistic, and doubtful. You know this. Your Aunt Edna, who watches TV all day. We all have an Aunt Edna, by the way. They watch TV all day and know everything. You're spending 30 minutes a day like, oh, so much to learn, so much to learn. And that's part of it. So don't listen to your Aunt Edna. She's the one at the family gatherings that even if she doesn't talk to you, she sucks the life out of you. Don't listen to her. That's part of it. So treat yourself like a do-it-yourself program. Learn, grow. And it could be a YouTube video, these type of trainings, a book. It could be even a mentor that could work you through the different pieces of this. So that's a big piece. Now, for those getting started, the next one we've noticed that just is there's no plan, no business plan, no target. They're just, I'm starting a business. What's your plan? Put it on paper. If it's not on paper, it doesn't count. That's one of the first things. What is your paper? It doesn't have to be very long. There are plenty of examples online if you want to Google a business plan, but it talks about your goals and your targets, basically how you're going to get there. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you're going to include, what do you think your costs are going to be? Operations, selling, who's your market, who's going to buy, who's your target audience? Your product's not for everyone. Because a lot of times we fall in love with our product or service. We're like, it's perfect. Everybody loves it. Well, do they? Find out, do some research, create a plan. And that's a huge one. So how your company will be structured, who's in charge, who's going to manage it, your sales strategy, funding, financial projections are all part of that. I don't want to go into the kind of the details to that, but you need a plan. And there are plenty of places online where you can ask yourself the questions for a basic 1-page, 2-page business plan, and it'll grow with time, but you can't hit the target if you don't have a target. I'm going to start a business. Well, good. You have to create it and map it out. That is a big, big piece. So business plan. The other one with entrepreneurs, this is a big one. Well, they're all big ones. And now probably the big one for you is lack of time management. You're wasting time. Everyone has the same amount of time, but you see people accomplishing 10 times more than you. What are they doing? We all have the same amount of time. And entrepreneurs, especially those that start business, they do everything but the important things. They're spending major time on minor things they don't care. They spend all their time not selling and working on the website and working on this and doing things. So I want you to ask yourself, as you start your business and grow your business, is this an income producing activity? Is this going to make me money? Especially in the beginning. You spend time on the most important things. Is this really that important? Is it going to make you money? Because we waste so much time on reading email and doing different things. Is this, so as an entrepreneur, when you sit down, is this an income producing activity? Because too many people are spending too much time on the little things that don't matter. So learn to manage your time. Learn to use your time wisely. Learn to, first of all, map out your day before it happens. Plan your day the night before or the morning to get things done. Learn to multitask at times. I think the big one for a lot of entrepreneurs is as humans, it's interesting, the brain, everybody has about a 4-hour block of the day where they're the sharpest, the most cognitively available. They're there. Now, some of you are morning people. I'm not. That's why I got to sit in my big chair here. Some people are afternoon. Some of you are late night people. Doesn't matter. But during that 4-hour block where you're the sharpest, that's not a time to answer email and do the easy things. That's the time to really work on the things that take your focus and concentration. That's the time to not take phone calls, turn your phone off, and really focus on it. And so those are things to talk about. So time management's huge. We could spend a whole session on that, but think just that one question: were you wasting your time? And is this an income producing activity? That's a big part. Okay. So again, just think about some of these things to work on as we go through this. We'll open it for questions here in a bit. But the other one with entrepreneurs, and along that same law earlier, is they just don't keep the score. Right? They don't keep the score. They're not monitoring their progress. See, every day you're closer or farther from your goals, especially with sales. What are your close rates? Does everybody know what that means? That means if you talk to 10 people, one says yes. Okay, you got to keep track of that. So if the next month it's 2, that means you're getting better. You're hitting your goals. The key for entrepreneurs is you need to decide how much money you want to make and work backwards. So if you want to make an extra $20,000 a year or whatever it is, you work backwards. So if you talk to 10 people and one says yes, you have to figure how many people you need to talk to every week, every day. So if you talk to 10, one says yes, that you'll make the $20,000 that year. I mean, that's how it works. Now, eventually you'll get better and you'll be able to make more. But if you talk to 1 or 2 in 10 people that say yes, you go say, okay, well, based on the math, I have to talk to 5 people a day to make an extra $20,000 a year. Do the reverse math. So you have to keep the score, know your progress, know your close rates. And here's the thing, when you have these goals, they're not negotiable. For example, if my goal is 5 people a day to talk to, whether it's email, social media, face-to-face, I'm talking to 5 people. That's my goal. If one day I talk to 3, there's no forgiveness here. Okay, this is not religion. There's no forgiveness here. If I talk to 3 today, that means tomorrow I'm talking to 7. Does that make sense? You'll say, well, I did pretty good. I talked to 3. No, your goal's 5. So if for some reason you didn't make it, stay up later to get your 5, or you have 7 the next day. Okay, it kind of changes the game on how that works. So keep the score, decide what it is, reverse engineer your numbers, and then you'll be able to figure that out.
Hey, Kurt, can I jump in here and talk just about some of the things that you've said?
Absolutely.
You said this isn't church or anything like that, but amen. I'm going to say amen. Amen on a Wednesday. I want to just address a couple of things that Kurt has said and just agree with what he's saying. I'm going to give you kind of my take on it. One of the things is that it's important to be able to know people. And they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. But there's one more piece to that. It's actually who knows you. Okay. It's important to know people, but it's more important that they know you. Now, how do they know you? You stick your hand out. You get a picture with them. You send them a thank you. You follow them on social media. You comment on the things that they're doing. You need to get into their world. Everybody's spinning in their own little worlds and stuff like that. Well, your job is to get into that world and do that by asking some questions from jumping in. Kurt's point about taking a millionaire to lunch is a great way to do it. Now, some of you, that might be a challenge because of location. Well, the next best thing is to try and reach out to them and say, you're doing some research on a small business. I would like to interview you. It'll only take about 10 minutes and ask you some questions. Now, the one thing that I know about successful people is that they're givers. They love to be able to help other people. They don't see you as competition. There's a few of these guys that think you're the competition, and I'm not going to tell you anything, but those guys don't last. They might have a one-hit wonder, but they're not there for the long term. It's the guys that continually help solve problems and make it better for all people, all team members that do the best. And they're just naturally givers. And it's a spiritual law, but it's a business law. Have you ever walked through a Costco or whatever, and they got free samples, and so you take the free sample, and the next thing you know, you're walking out with a whole cart of some kind of product or something. You have to be able to be a giver. Now, Kurt, also, I just want to plus on his 30 minutes. One of the things that we do is called NET. No extra time, N-E-T, no extra time. So many of you are in a car. Many of you are on a bike. Many of you are exercising. What can you put on in the background, or what can you put on when you're in your car to be able to get this extra information? Now, millionaires do this. Multimillionaires do this. And you would think, hey, I finally hit the status. I'm a millionaire, a multimillionaire. I don't have to do any more of it. That's not true. That's how we refine ourselves. That's how we get our brain into what we call game face. That's a little term that my wife and I would be able to use, because she knows that as soon as I get up and I get onto the treadmill or onto the bike, I'm getting my game face. It's time to get to work and get stuff done. And then at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I take my game face off, and I'm just hanging out. So the net extra time. Now, the other benefit to that is that your kids are going to listen to, and they're going to be part of that. So if you're in the car and you've got your Success and Money Foundation class going on, guess what? They're going to listen to it. They're going to be part of it, subconsciously and consciously, and it's something you can talk about. Kurt talked about a business plan. I wholeheartedly agree with that, but sometimes people say, the business plan is something I'm going to write all out. It's my thesis. It's my book. A business plan starts on the back of an envelope. What's the simple little flow of what you're doing? What's the simple little flow of what you're doing? And in business, there's only 3 ways that you can make more money. Number 1, you need more customers. You need more customers. Times they need to buy more often. Times they need to buy more when they buy. So on the envelope, on a piece of paper, those are the 3 things that I want you to write down. You need more customers that buy more often, that buy more. So I need a lot more customers, but the most crucial part is I'm going to say the crucial part is actually step 2 and 3. It's not more customers. If you're only selling, you're finding a customer, they're coming in one time and you never see them again, that is an inch deep and a mile wide. What we want to do is we want to go deep. So every customer that you find, the question is, how do you get them to buy your product more often? And the biggest one is, how do you get them to buy more of it every time they buy? For most businesses, you should be concentrating on number 2 and 3. The most expensive thing that you can do is go out into the marketplace and find a new customer. That's the most expensive thing you can do. The most profitable thing you can do is take that customer that you already have and get him to buy more often. Find out what his problems are. Find a way to be able to solve those problems. Add more value. Add more value. Remember, add more value. The more value you add, the more things he's going to buy, which means we're going to buy a lot more of it. So I wouldn't even concentrate on step 1. Everybody thinks I just need to go get more customers. No. What you need to do is you need to go deep with those customers and find out all the different methods of learning, all the different methods of things they need. How can you be the supplier of multiple things? Then once you get that down, because that is exponential. If you have 100 customers and they buy from you once a month, and you can simply get them to buy twice a month, you've in essence doubled your business. Same number of customers, but they're buying twice a month. Your business is twice as big. And if they only buy like 100 of something and you can get them to buy 200 of something, now your total revenue has gone up 4 times. You get that? It's gone up 4 times from if you're just doing the step number 1. That's why that's so important to be able to do. Okay, I love what Kurt's talking about with the keep the score. It's just a game, guys. It's just a game. And we're having fun playing the game. It's not real money. When I got started, and we were running quite a bit of money through the business, it freaked me out because I equated the money with something. Here's this much money that we're bringing in, and it's equated to a car or a house. Then I says, this doesn't work. It's just a game. It's just math. It's just figures, and it's just math. I can multiply it, I can divide it, I can add it, and I can subtract it. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just math. And then if I do really well, then you earn a perk, you earn a bonus. Okay. The more that you can take it out of being money and move it into a game, the easier it is to make decisions, because the decisions you make need to be made on a mathematical basis. Okay. Making an emotional decision is one of the hardest things to do because you don't have enough facts. The goal is to be able to give you the information so you can make a decision off of math. This is more than that. Now, Kurt mentioned that many businesses fail. They're going to fail. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I have failed many, many times. I've got the biggest loss I've ever had, that I'm experiencing right now off of a business that I invested in 7 years ago, that I started investing in it all the way up till now. And in a million years, I never thought that they would go through a bankruptcy, because I was there. I've seen what they've done, and I'm just beating myself up over it because of this major loss. But at the same time, if I had it overdue again, and that's the information that I had, I'd probably made the same decision. Now, being a little bit smarter and older, I can learn from it and say, okay, well, I want to ask more questions. I need to look at this angle. I need to look at this angle and this angle. But the information that I had, I made the best decision I could, and I failed on it. Okay. But I took a chance on it. It should have been able to 4 or 5 times exit, but they didn't and went the other direction. So have fun with this. And the last piece is feared things first. Bob Allen talks a lot about feared things first. When you make your list of things to do, we number them 1 out of, these are my 10s. These got to get done today. These are my 9s. These are my 8s. Well, I never work on anything that's not at least a 7 or more. And if I work on my 7 when I'm tired in the afternoon, I work on my 8s and 9s. I do my feared things first. That's kind of the keys of it. So I want to thank everybody. We're going to come back for our next segment, and we're going to continue to talk about your small business. I'm so grateful for Kurt and for everything that he's doing. So between he and I, he's a best-selling author, and between he and I, he's still a best-selling author, and I'm not. And if we take our 2 degrees, he's an MBA and I've got 3 years of college. Well, that gets us 2 of us graduated from college. So he's bringing my average up. He's bringing the average of our group up. Anyway, we're going to be right back in just a second. We're going to go into another segment where we're going to continue to talk about small business.